Standing in the wake of this train wreck, my heart is beating faster in my chest. This depression terrifies me. When I'm awake, it's like these thoughts, they paralyze me. I don't wanna feel like this. I don't wanna feel like this. Time stops, weightless and cold. Silence burns like fire while my fears unfold. There's panic. Tooth to my cheek, too hard to speak without you. Lungs drained of air, life feels unfair without you. Come back to me, don't leave me to dream about you, dream about you, dream about you. How can I breathe without you? How can I breathe without you? Without you. What is left to say when the sky falls? I'm staring at your ghost in the stars. There's not a day that I don't miss you. The feeling swelling overflow. It's like I see you, hear you. I don't wanna feel like this. Why do I still feel like this? Heart ripped out of my brain. I sit here talking to myself. I think I'm going insane. Tooth to my cheek, too hard to speak without you. Lungs drained of air, life feels unfair without you. Come back to me, don't leave me to dream about you, dream about you, dream about you. How can I breathe without you? How can I breathe without you? The only way to fix this, the only way to fix this pain inside. The only way to fix this is a deep breath in as you say goodbye.
I kick ass for the Lord.
What about me?
I never loved him the way that I love you. Just drops the mic.
Bit me with his butt.
Can't see it from here.
What about the panty?
What about the panty? What's up, Butters? What's up? How's it going, everybody? Welcome into 52/1993. I feel like it's been a very long time since I've spoken to anyone, and not sure if anybody could tell. I'm a little bit, my voice is a little hoarse, just a little hoarse, like a pony, just a little hoarse. Welcome in, everybody. This is 52/1993, the movie conversation podcast, where we talk about movies from the year 1993. Doesn't matter if they're good, doesn't matter if they're bad. It just matters that they existed in the year 1993. And it matters that we're talking about them here today. So I've got, one of my favorite guest hosts with me, Steven, to discuss this with me. He was really excited to talk about Rookie of the Year with me, and I'm really excited to talk about Rookie of the Year with him as well. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I want to go ahead and thank you, Steven, for joining me today. But let's go ahead and talk.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm excited. This is one of my favorites so
I
far
love it.
to talk about. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. It's going to be good. All right, so let's talk about this movie. It's obviously titled Rookie of the Year. It came out July 7th, 2023. It is directed by Daniel Stern. This is the only movie that Daniel Stern ever directed. And I like his reasoning behind this. I don't know if you found that in your research, but I like the reasoning behind it. It was written by Sam Harper, who also did like Cheaper by the Dozen, Just Married, Open Season, a lot of family movies. So this is kind of in his wheelhouse. The cast is, I'm going to go on for a little bit here, so I apologize. Thomas Ian Nicholas, Henry Rowan Gardner, Gary Busey as Chet Rocket Stedman, Amy Morton as Mary Rowan Gardner, Henry's mom, Bruce Altman as Jack Bradfield, Dan Hedaya as Larry Fisher, Albert Hall as Sal Martinella, Eddie Brackett as Bob Carson, the owner of the team, Daniel Stern as Phil Brickma, and then we've got some various little other roles out here. John Candy's uncredited in this movie as one of the announcers. Neil Flynn, who you might know from the show The Middle or Scrubs, who plays the janitor. He's in this movie. William Earl Brown, you might recognize him as Kenny the cameraman from Scream, or the Warren from There's Something About Mary. He can't find his baseball. Colombe Jacobson is probably better well known from the Mighty Ducks movies, the second and the third one. She plays Julie the Cat Gaffney. And then another familiar face from the very first movie we did, Robert High Gorman. He plays one of Henry's friends. He was also in Leprechaun when we talked about, he's the foul-mouthed one from Leprechaun. So, all right. Synopsis of this movie for those who have not seen it. Well, you made a mistake and you should see this movie. A freak accident causes 12-year-old Little League player Henry to become such a powerful and accurate pitcher that the Chicago Cubs sign the junior high student to a contract. Unprepared for such a high-pressure environment, Henry falters until aging fastballer Chet Stedman takes him under his wing and teaches him how to play in the big leagues. Meanwhile, his mother's boyfriend tries to sell Henry's contract to a hated opposing team. The budget for this movie came in between $10 and $14 million, and it was a box office success. It made $56.5 million. Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie is a low 38%, and IMDb gives it a little bit higher grade at 6.1 out of 10. And I love these reviews. So Roger Ebert says that, look, this isn't a great movie. If you're not a kid, don't go unless there's a kid you want to take. But if you're a kid and you have ever for a moment wondered what it would be like to play Major League Baseball at your age, then take it from the old little leaguer and see this movie. I really shouldn't give it 3 stars, but I'm going to anyway. Call it a form of revenge for all those hours of dread I spent in right field. Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4 stars. And then Chris Hicks from Deseret News said the first third or so of Rookie of the Year is hysterically funny, but then the film settles into a sentimental rut, only to pick up again here and there with amusing bits. So,
Good reviews.
Yeah, good reviews. Hold on just a second. I'm going to cough, and I don't want to cough anybody's ear.
Mm.
So before we get into, our little categories of things to talk about,
Yeah.
tell me about your experience with this movie. Maybe, when you first, or how much you watched it as a kid, or just give me a little bit of background there.
Yeah. First of all, I gotta agree with the chat. First comment in the chat that man, Julie the cat between this movie and the Mighty Ducks movies was an early crush, in life. Uh, so not only that, but
I think your mic went out. I can't hear him. I can't hear you anymore. You're going to have to say all of that all over again. Let's see if we've got the unfortunately, we cannot hear you. Let me try and mute him and unmute him. There we go. How about now?
All right, I think that'll work probably right there.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, go back through everything you just said.
Sorry about that. It was. Did it just crash? Where did it go? Okay, my computer's being pretty weird. Sorry, man.
That's okay.
Yeah, definitely. So you didn't even hear what I said about the chat, huh?
I heard you say that the chat and how Julie the Cat Gaffney was one of your first crushes growing up. For all of us, I mean, I was completely angry in D2 that she didn't get to play, and they made Goldberg play the whole time until it came down to it. But whatever, that's another year. That's another movie.
Yeah, definitely one of the movies we had growing up. Watched it a ton. Definitely at a time wanted to break my arm so I could pitch like Henry. Didn't play baseball for long, but like around this, like I want to say this was 93, so that makes me 8 years old. So I'm only like a mere 5 years behind like Henry's age. So I'm like, man, when I get to the little leagues after T-ball, I hope I break my arm so I can play with the Cubs. It was just so realistic at a time, right? It was so.
Yeah.
It makes sense that your arm would like be in a place and then the muscles would like heal a certain way and you could pitch really fast. So it's just so realistic as a kid. For me, it was like, I think that could really happen and I hope it happens to me. So yeah, I loved this movie and really enjoyed watching back through it.
Yeah. I think every child at this age thought the exact same thing. Like, let me try and trip on a baseball and see if I can replicate this. I wonder if broken arms went up during this point.
93, there's just soaring broken arm statistics. Yeah.
Kids are getting Tommy John surgery like crazy. It's madness. But yeah, I don't know. This movie did not turn me into a Cubs fan, thankfully. But definitely, this was the era of baseball movies. We already talked about Sandlot this year. We've got this movie next year. We've got Little Big League, which is one of my favorites that came out. What else? I have it over there somewhere. What other baseball movie? I'm trying to think of.
I don't want to. I've got one in the bread basket for my.
Oh, you want to save it? Yeah, we can save it.
So
yeah,
you didn't say it, so I'm hoping to throw it out later.
I loved Little Big League so much, but like all these little sports movies coming out, Little Giants, There's a bunch of them. Was there a basketball one? Like Mike came out like
Was
way
Air
later,
Bud
but
around this,
Air Buds around in the mid 90s too. Yeah.
oh,
So
and they were just killing it with the
oh,
kids.
I know one, and I'm not gonna say it.
Don't say it. Don't say it because it may. I'll be interested if it's the same one I'm thinking of.
I'm sure it is. Bad News Bears. Well, the original was in, somebody in chat asked about Bad News Bears. That was in the late 80s, late 70s, I want to say. And then the remake was in the early 2000s. Somebody in chat just asked, was Rookie of the Year Daniel Stern's first directorial job? It was his only directorial job. And we'll get to some more knowledge about that here in a few. So just wanted to see where our relationship was with this movie and how much we all loved it as children. And I'd be curious to know if there are any women around this age, you know, who shared the love. Like Sandlot, I feel like people can get into of everybody, but I feel like this one's such a little boy movie.
I mean, I feel like, you know, I can only speak to it so much, but if I'm a little girl who's like 10, 11, 12, 13 at this time, I'm crushing on Henry. He's a cutie, man.
He's a cutie, man.
Yeah, I'm crushing on Henry for sure.
He's like a more accessible Benny the Jet.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He's like that version. We're talking about a child here.
Oh yeah, but still,
Oh,
I mean,
my
he's just there's something about he's like missing teeth like I am, but
yeah,
he's missing them because they didn't grow in, and it's like cute, not ugly. So, yeah,
he's a gem, man.
yeah,
I love him.
he's a cutie pie. So I think as a little, let's see what we got. Yeah, I mean, I think why isn't there like a major league women's like softball? Why is there just not enough money in it?
It has to be that. I mean, there's professional softball, but it's
Not at
just
that
not,
level. Like
it's just not marketed the same way, and they just don't make money that way. Yeah. So, but you know, somebody in chat, you two could play in the MLB. Keep trying, keep your head up, and keep practicing. Maybe you'll make it someday. Okay, somebody seems like who didn't end up wilding her. She turned out no. Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. Somebody's bringing up Julie the Cat Gaffney, Colombe Jacobson in this movie. But yeah, she only did a few movies and like scattered throughout the 90s and like the early 2000s, and then became like a chef. So you can actually go to her website. I forget what it is, but just look up her name and you can go to her website. She has, I mean, beautiful food that she makes. It's pretty cool to see. So that's a good pull from the chat there. So thank you. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's talk about some of the best scenes from this movie. I wrote down 5 scenes, and I'm sure that we have definitely some crossover, especially with my very first.
I would say if you wrote down 5, I have 1, 2, 3, 6 written down.
Okay.
And the main reason I wrote 6 down is because I figured of my 6, I bet 4 are on your list.
Okay. What's your first scene?
I mean, the scene from this movie, right? The scene that is for me as a kid, the thing I said, I repeated the most. It's the quote. It's the scene. Funky butt loving.
Funky butt love. That's the very first one I wrote down.
Yeah,
the doctor's office scene.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So in this scene, Henry's getting his cast taken off. So we're blowing by a bunch of other stuff. That's just, the movie doesn't really get going until this point.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing baseball. He's building a boat with his buddies. He slips on a baseball. He breaks his arm. He's in a cast like this for 6 months. How long?
6 months. Yeah, I think it was 6 months. Yeah,
a long time. I don't feel like they do you like that anymore.
No, I don't think so.
They're gonna put you in a cast.
I think. Yeah,
right
I think
here,
they're putting it like that.
Was that a thing?
I have no idea. There's certainly no reason for them to ever do this. That'd be too much.
That may be like, not to spoil later, but that may be one of my another moments to bring up. A WTF moment is like, why are they putting his arm? Why are they casting his arm into the air
for the high fives?
That's a great, yeah. That's a great point.
No,
Yeah.
I love seeing his mother drive him around, and he's got his arm out the
They'll
window.
have the arm
just-
out the window.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I think they
awesome.
do a pretty good job at like showing several crummy situations to be, like the in class, raising his
yeah.
hand. Like they do a good little montage of all the crappy situations that he's in. 6 months of having his arm in the air, but then is getting his cast taken off. And cast comes off, and he's doctor's asking him to move his arm around, and he's doing kind of a rotation
Mhm.
this way. He goes up, and then he's like, okay, move forward, and he smacks him like right in the face, downward smack to the face, and the doctor yells, funky butt loving.
And my yeah, George is the best. Did he just say funky butt loving?
Did he just say funky butt loving?
I remember getting in trouble for saying funky
Oh,
butt
yeah.
loving when I was a child.
Definitely a no phrase, and like I would like stub my toe and be like funky butt loving, and would get in trouble for sure because it sounds like other things depending on how you say it.
Yeah, but seriously, let's break it down. Let's break down funky butt loving real quick. What kind of phrase is that? That is a weird phrase.
Especially for a kids movie.
Yes.
That's the one. Bingo.
It's classic.
Classic. Yeah, definitely the scene from this movie that I think anybody that watched it, somebody that wasn't a kid, didn't care about baseball, that's the scene they're going to
Yes.
remember from this movie.
I think we'll be in agreement on a bunch of different of the later categories. I mean, that's the
What's your number two?
my number two is I call it throw it back, Henry.
That's what that is. I think that one's my number two as well. Let me go back here real quick. Yeah, throw it back is what I have written
Yeah.
down.
So it's a very definitely a Cubs thing to do when an opposing team hits a home run in your ballpark to throw back the ball, and this causes Henry to, there. I love that Clark and whatever the other kid's name is, both are like, I don't want to throw it.
Clark and George. They're like,
Great kids' names.
Are you George?
Wait.
Are you George grown up, by the way?
Me?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Did you
I
play
like
George? Like, I feel like you're grown up George, man. As I was watching this movie, I was like, is that Cody as a kid?
I was way tinier than that kid. I grew into this mass that I am today.
Oh, hush. That's not what I
No, I'm just mass. It's mass. I'm just
Mass.
accumulating it. No, but Clark, George, and Henry are the oldest children's names ever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like no kids that age were named.
Sounds
Clark,
like a
George, and
Christmas
Henry.
vacation. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it sounds like adults at work. Yeah.
It
Clark,
does.
Henry, yeah.
And so they throw it back, and this starts, he throws it from like center field all the way to home plate. That's like 435 feet.
Just zooms it in there.
Hurts the guy's hand. Like he tags him out, which I think is hilarious. And he doesn't know, or whatever it is. But this sets off the search for Henry and for him to become the Chicago Cub that we know for the rest of the movie. So
Yeah, something I didn't write down that I do like as I've thought about it in the time before the stream. I really do in between, like him smacking the doctor in the face and then throwing the ball back. I love the little shot of them in the driveway, like as he's finding out that he can throw a ball like 100 miles an hour. That he throws the ball at them, and like George is like, "Gosh, Henry, you could play for the Cubs." I love that scene so
Yeah.
much. That's a good, and like mom drops the groceries. That's a staple scene for me.
Yeah.
as well.
So good. The third one, and this is probably where we might, have some differences. I put the first game that
Okay.
Henry pitches. In
Yeah,
this
where Mr. Lick the
Oh,
Lips just
gosh.
cranks it.
Hedo is his name, I
Oh,
guess.
man, he is awesome in this movie.
He has also been in a movie that you and I talked about earlier.
Really?
He is the state trooper who tells Phil to turn back in Groundhog Day.
What?
Yeah, no
crazy.
beard, no nothing.
Man, Man, he's so good. He's such a good bad guy.
Yeah.
I love to hate him in this movie.
Yeah. But that first game, Henry pitches the ball. It does not go well. He gives up a home run to Hedo. And Hedo is like his nemesis for the rest of the movie, although we don't even see him until the very ending, the last game. I'm trying to think if anything else happens in this. He gets the save, even though he gives up that home run, which is kind of impressive. But that's this scene. Somebody in chat just said, how have we not talked about the Hatitude yet? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Attitude.
Hatitude. I'm gonna have a Hatitude problem here in a few seconds.
I did my third scene written down because it kind of follows the throw it back pretty quick. I just wanted to sum up that, like, man, every time John Candy's on screen, he just kills it. I love every second. Like when he pitches it from the stands, he's like, holy smoke, somebody just like he's one of those guys that he can do very little and be really fun about doing it. And I feel like in this movie, that's why he was not casted and still got paid to be in it, because he was just so perfect as the announcer. So I kind of wrote down, like, if you could take all the John Candy shots in like one scene, which is probably, they filmed them pretty quick like that. He does. I put that down as my third one.
I think he also has that quote in this scene where he says, this is why the Cubs are so bad, because they've got more talent in the stands than they do on the field.
That quote written down as one of my favorite. Yeah, he's such a good. Yeah, he's great in this movie.
Gone too soon, definitely.
Yeah,
we missed out on a lot of John Candy. This isn't our final John Candy appearance that we'll get this year. I think we've got another one in the banks, a really good one, and goes along with our sports movie theme. So that'll be a good one to talk about. What else you got?
I want to know what the Hatitude is.
I got to know what this Hatitude is.
You can't start talking like that and then just leave about Hatitude. What else do I got is I also kind of summed up, and I know we're going to probably disagree about this one, is that pretty much everything with Brickma's, like every scene with Brickma's funny to me. And like, especially as a kid, my dad always chewed sunflower seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then he would get too many in and he would choke. Like Brick was just like talking to him. He's like, and just throwing sunflower seeds in his mouth and just gets choked up. And then him locking himself in the locker and getting caught between the doors. I really like all the scenes with him as well.
Yeah. So we can go ahead and talk about Brickma a little bit. And I agree with you. Because when I was a kid, I thought Brickma was the best part of this movie, and
where's the ball?
Yeah, when he gets trapped twice in this movie, he gets caught between the door. I always thought that was the funniest stuff in this movie, and I love Daniel Stern, great physical comedian. I mean, we've seen him in Home Alone and Home Alone 2, and he's just fantastic. Bushwhacked is another great movie. Bushwhacked is great, just such a good physical comedian. And I think this time around, when I was watching it as a 35-year-old man, I was just like, yeah, I don't love it as much as I used to, but that, no qualms. It's a kid's movie. And I mean, you got to go into it as a child. And
I'd say still lands for me. I think I'm still like, I don't know. It's still him getting caught in the door, choking on the sunflower seeds.
I love him when he's giving the sign that Henry's going in for the first time.
Yeah.
He's like swatting at the bee or whatever.
Dude, just everything he does, just like John Candy, I think he did really well with this character. Like, you have that silly guy that's the batting coach or the pitching coach or whatever. That I think he did it really well. So.
I think I was so pissed off about it because I was thinking of it in a baseball mind, and I was like, how the hell does this guy get to be a coach? And like, he just says, oh, I beamed him in the minors and he's been following me. I was like, that guy's not a pitching coach at all. Like, I was so mad that
when he's hitting the balls and they're going up and
oh my God,
in the head.
That part was funny. I really enjoyed that because I imagine that's like almost realistic. Like that would happen a lot.
I loved his sideburns, like his glasses, just I know there's no way he's a pitching coach in the Major League Baseball world. But
No.
like, what a fun side character,
Yeah.
especially for kids.
Okay, so in the chat he said, when I was a kid, I always thought in the little pep talk that Stepman gave Henry, he was saying "hatitude" instead of the "have to do" or the. I thought Brodog would remember that, but I guess not.
Oh no.
I that is the weirdest like pep talk part of this when he goes out there to what is it? The have to do?
Yeah, the have to.
The have to. Yeah, the have to.
Have to and the need to. Is it that? Is it? There's the have
Yeah,
to.
I was like that was a little weak for me. I'm not gonna lie. But they recognize it. He's like, "What'd you tell him?" He's like, you know.
Shout out to Gary Busey for I saw this and watching this, I ended up watching a video of just the noises that Gary Busey makes in this movie. Somebody chopped all the noises that he makes in the movie as it made a montage. Shout out to Gary Busey for all the noises that he made. Well, he just does a lot of grunting and like when he's walking out to Henry during that scene, he's like just groaning.
So the next thing I have on my list is when Henry has to bat for the very first time.
Yep.
Classic scene. And I think between Funky Butt Lovin' and this scene, this was my entire childhood, like summed up in two scenes.
Every time I've ridden a roller coaster since I saw this movie for the first time in my life, as it's gone up the incline, I've gone, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god,
oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god,
oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
So much in this scene. One, Henry's so small, and he's going up against this pitcher, and doesn't have a strike zone. His parents are freaking out. He's freaking, or his mom is freaking out. Stedman is freaking out. Henry's freaking out, and they're all doing the oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I love that bit. And then when he gets walked, of course, because he has no strike zone, and then Henry
starts the taunts.
Does what Henry does best.
What a kid would do, man.
Yeah.
Like I think you'd probably be scared shitless, probably.
Yeah.
Like on first base in a Major League Baseball game. But instead, this kid's like, I got on base. I'm going to start being a kid.
Yeah. The pitcher's got a big butt. And the pitcher.
We need a pitcher, not an underwear
snitcher. I said all this stuff, though. Like,
oh, man. Staples.
And only because of this movie. Did I do this? And yeah,
Ooh,
that's a good question.
Man,
who has the better taunts, Henry or Ham from Sandlot? I think Ham from Sandlot.
I see why you've kept her around. That's a good question.
I think I'm partial to Ham because I think his are more pointed and directed, like at the individuals he's going after. Like when he talks about his sister being out in center field naked, like I think that's the funniest thing.
I probably used Henry's more, but I'd say Ham's were I mean, those were the ones I didn't want to repeat, so I didn't get in like big trouble.
Yeah, big trouble.
Yeah, saying like pitchers got a big butt would only get me in like
a little bit
of trouble. Versus if I said Funky Butt Lovin',
that's a lot of trouble.
That's a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I would say Ham, but I agree with you. I definitely used the Henry taunts more than I did the Ham ones. I did use both of them, and one of them got me in trouble with an umpire. So
the only other thing I have is mom clocking the boyfriend.
Oh, really? You didn't have the which is a great scene whenever, and if that, I mean, seriously, if that boyfriend would have touched my child the way that he touched him, like, hell yeah, I would have beat the shit out of him.
I love the way she like hits him and he falls down the stairs. Like, it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
At that point, like, that dude is such a good douchebag in this movie. He's so hateable. And, you know, I love that scene. And mainly, you know, I've got some quotes too. There's something that's always been funny to me, like probably biggest laugh of the entire movie is when mom and boyfriend start arguing in this scene. And he's like, yes, I can. He says, yes, I can.
Yeah.
Very like theatrical. Yes, I can.
Yeah. No, that guy sucks.
He's my client. I love it every
Yeah.
time. Even as a kid, it made me laugh. That
Yeah.
was like, that's silly. That's funny. And then mom clocks him, and it's like, yeah.
Oh, I
he's
love
being
it.
a crazy guy.
I love the like victory dance that Henry and her do when he comes.
Yeah.
They're like, it's almost like the gruesome twosome, like Frank and her, like yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's incredible. The final scene I have, got the pictures, is the final inning for Henry. He slips back on the ball. Not only do I have that, I think this is an important scene, but you also have the ridiculousness of the hidden ball trick. When he taunts the runner on first, throws the ball up, and then chases down the runner. I really love that. And then we get that final showdown with Hedo in this. And
We get that close up of him just.
oh, yeah, he loves his tongue.
I
It's like
love it.
Miley Cyrus tongue in that situation. And we also get the, Henry finding out that his mom was actually a pitcher, and telling him to float it. I love that. So that's those are the scenes. I think the best scene, like I said, is Funky Butt Lovin'. I think that is classic. That is the scene that everybody talks about whenever they talk about this movie. And then Pitcher's Got a Big Butt. I think that's the next to
Oh my
next to
god!
best
Oh my
scene.
god! Oh my 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 god!
All right, who's your favorite character in this movie, or maybe if you had a scene stealer?
Man, I really like. I mean, scene stealer is John Candy for sure.
Okay, I love it.
He's my scene stealer. Henry's pretty perfect. I mean,
Thank you.
gotta love the main character in this one because we've already talked about how cute he is. I feel like one of the things that he does really, really well, and I think the reason I would back up him as my favorite character is when he's talking to Julie, it's like he really is nervous.
Mhm.
I swear they caught him on camera really blushing.
Yeah.
Like he seems like I don't know what to say. Man, I thought he did that. This, especially this time watching, I was like, man, for a kid actor, I'm convinced that you're talking to this girl for the first time and you have a crush on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
No.
he was great.
100% agree with you. I didn't even think about John Candy as being like a scene stealer, but you're right. Like he's just amazing in everything that he does. But yeah, Henry's the best character in this.
Yeah.
They cast a perfect kid, and I don't know if he had done anything before this, or if this was like a casting call and he got plucked, but Thomas Ian Nicholas kills this, and
I
good
mean,
for
it was-
him.
What I read was up till like really close. They kind of cast him last second because somebody was going to use their kid. I don't think it was Daniel Stern, but somebody involved in the production, I think, was going to use their kid. But like I think they found him kind of last second and threw him in it. So yeah, I mean, for being a newbie, for being that young, I mean, I feel like he definitely crushed the role. Like
Mhm.
I wanted to be Henry for sure when I was a kid.
Yeah, Henry was a god.
Yeah.
All right, favorite quote. We highlight a couple quotes here that really shine in the movie. I know you've got a few down. I'm sure I've got a couple that maybe you don't have. They're a little bit, mine are obscure, I think a little bit more obscure, but what do you got?
I mean, you've already hit one of my favorites, and it's John Candy as the announcer, and it's I just figured out why the Cubs lose every year. They've got more talent in the stands than they do in the field.
It's a good one.
Man,
Such a good one.
just sing, just boom, like fresh out of the gate too. Like that's one of his first scenes.
Mhm.
Just yeah, I love it, love it. I love Brickma's 3 R's.
Yeah, I had that one written down. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've got the key to being a big league pitcher is the 3 R's: readiness, recuperation, and conditioning.
So stupid.
You see, after the game, a lot of guys like to ice up their arm. Still, other fellas think that the heat is the way to go. But I've discovered the secret, Henry. Hot ice. That's right. Hot ice. I heat it up. The ice cubes. It's the best of both worlds.
The joy he has delivering this line when he says hot ice.
Hot ice.
Is that the same
It's
scene in
so
which
dumb.
he chokes on the sunflower seeds? I don't know
Around
if
the
that's
same time, but man, that right there is the definition of the humor that I love still to this day, and I loved as a kid. I remember thinking that him being like the 3 R's.
hot ice.
Yeah, that's my kind of humor right there. That's good stuff.
Oh my gosh. I have a line from Edith, who is the little girl that George, I think.
Okay.
No, Clark
Clark, yeah.
is in love with, and it says, Carrie or Harold told me that Becky Fraker doesn't think you're very ugly. Such a good kid line to me. Like, she doesn't think you're very ugly, so that's pretty cool.
I got another Daniel Stern line. I got another Brickma line.
No, I hope it's the one on the plane. Somebody in chat just said the plane conversation.
Yeah, that's a good one. I do have that one down as well.
Okay, give me another Brickma.
Hey, your mom has a pretty good arm. I ain't seen the floater pitch since Scuffy McGee.
Scuffy McGee.
Oh, it still cracks me up so good.
Oh my gosh.
The plane conversation is the next one I've got written down. I wrap the cake up in my vomit bag and voila, breakfast.
I hate him. I hate him so much.
Conservation, managing resources. That's the key to baseball, Henry.
I was gonna try and compile all of them and together in like a rules of baseball from Brickman. I couldn't. I figured somebody on the internet had done it, and I really didn't want to go back and put it together myself. So, but God, he's the worst.
Yeah, I love the. Hey kid, how'd you like to play for the Chicago Cubs? Great. But I gotta ask my mom first.
That's a great line
Yeah.
to sum up the movie.
Yeah.
I have one from George that says, "Let's go back to our dull lives and search for meaning." I love that line.
Yeah. As he's like leaving to go on his tour of baseball games.
That's a horse of a different color.
Man, yeah, it's chocked full. You know, it's like I think that's what makes it such a good kids movie in a sense, is like some of the lines and the quotes were just so funny.
I mean, even from Henry, like it's not even you quote it, I quote. I know we've all quoted it when he's throwing the laundry pucks into the washing machine and he's doing the announcer Henry row. I've done that so many times.
I have done that so many times because of that movie.
Yes. And then
conservation, managing resources. That's the key to baseball, Henry.
Since Scuffy McGee.
Man, Daniel Stern kills it, man. He's so funny.
You're bringing me around.
Ridiculous, but
any other quotes that we missed?
Like you said, I mean, I don't have it written down, but I love the way when they're first settling into the hotel, the guy, the like concierge or whatever, the guy, like the hotel guy, like comes around the corner. He's like, "Sorry about that. We're having a malfunction with your door." Man, that has always cracked me up too, man. There's just so many little things about this movie that are funny to me.
This is such a good movie.
Yeah.
Biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill? I gave the award to Funky Butt Lovin'. I still think that's the best laugh in the entire movie.
I agree, and right there with me, right there with it, oddly enough, is the yes, I can.
Yes, I can.
He's my client. Makes me laugh so hard every time. Just the way he's dressed, his hair, the way he's talking. It's like he's begging to get punched by mom. And
yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
All right. What's the most ridiculous moment in this movie? There are so many, but.
Yeah, ridiculous moments for me. You know, I think either putting his arm in a cast like this, or, unfortunately, one of the things that never really landed for me, because I played a little bit of baseball. I guess like shortly after seeing this movie, I was like, oh, they couldn't have done the hidden ball trick.
No, yeah, it's totally illegal.
Yeah, I think, and so especially this watch that had lost its magic.
Yes.
That first watch, when you thought like, you can do that, it was like, that was incredible. That was like highlight of the movie. It was like you said, that was the last game, that scene being one of the top ones. This time around, it was like, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that. And then like the I also in that same scene, the floater pitch kind of makes me mad too. Because
Yeah.
like that guy's gonna crank it. He's gonna crush it.
Man.
Just crush that ball.
Especially if he's working on his tongue like that.
Oh yeah. If he's got the tongue working,
Oh,
bam, out of there.
man, like maybe out of the park.
Yeah.
But it
Chat
works. It works.
brought up the play after that. That one's at least I feel like a little bit more believable because it's essentially in the same like play, like, and he's essentially picking off the person. He's just doing it a weird way. But yeah, it's just as ridiculous. Like, just don't leave the base. Like the fact that the runner goes is just that's bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in like a pretty big game, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna let this kid get you on national TV in
No,
the big game.
in the biggest what is this? This goes to
Division championship.
Yeah, division championship. No, you stay on that base. But I'm not gonna nitpick this.
Excuse my language, but if I'm a Major League Baseball player and I got this kid messes with me, I'm gonna be like, "Fuck off, kid."
Be like, just pitch the ball, man.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, would the ump allow that complete stop for the pitcher to goad the runner? I think so. Like, especially since he's not going back to the base, since the runner's not going back to the base, and he's like triggering him. I feel like it's still allowed. I'm not sure though.
And especially this time around too, it was like the Chicago Cubs only got 2 pitchers.
Oh yeah, they've only got a starter and a closer. That is it.
They only got 2. I bet if you look up the lineup in 1993, the Cubs had more than 2 pitchers. I guarantee you. So that was the other, this time around, kind of the magic of that final, oh no, my powers are gone, was a little lost for me.
Yeah, I agree. All right, best music moment. I really hope we have the same one.
Oh my God, please tell me we do.
You go ahead.
When Chet Stedman throws out his arm.
No, I don't have that one.
The best one of the, like, I think about it regularly. Like when I think about baseball and people getting injured playing baseball, especially pitchers, when he throws that final pitch, it's like,
oh yeah.
It was just like this gnarly guitar solo that I've always thought was great. What about you? What is your?
I put "You've Got the Right One, Baby."
Oh yeah,
by Ray Charles.
Yeah, of course, right? Of course.
Well, the only reason I put that is because when I was a kid, I was obsessed with those commercials. This is something that kids don't have these days. I'm shaking my fist at the sky and being like, kids these days, they don't appreciate commercials because they used to be good. But like that whole Ray Charles Diet Pepsi thing, like I remember in our local Kroger grocery store, we had a like cardboard cutout stand-ups of the girls that were hanging out with Ray Charles and Ray Charles. And I was like, Mom, I want this so bad. And like, I wanted her to take my picture with them. And of course it was 1993. So you don't have like cameras readily available to take pictures of you. But I think I do somewhere have a picture with me and a cardboard cutout of Ray Charles and the girls.
I'm so glad you're bringing that up, because how did we forget? I need you to make it more Sexy. I
Yes,
love
look, I'm gonna ask this 13-year-old kid to make this commercial more
I need you
sexy.
to make it more sexy.
How terrifying!
I
Oh
love it.
man, it makes me a little mad that obviously Henry's doing this because he thinks that he has to, because
Yeah.
his manager slash mom's boyfriend or whatever is making him do all this stuff, and then he like rushes out to go hang out with his boys at the boat, and they're all like, "Oh, you're just some big star now. You don't want to hang out with us." I was like, clearly he does.
I don't
Clearly
know
that's
why you
all he
didn't
wants
just
to do.
bring like a wad of $100 bills and be like, "It's fine, guys.
I'll buy you a boat.
I'll
We don't
buy
even
us
need to
one." Yeah, just
freaking
make
take a
rain.
yacht out.
Yeah. Poor Henry, man. He's in such a crappy, like everybody would want to play for the Cubs with their superpowers, and like George is kind of being a jerk, and luckily, Clark's around to
Clark's a good mediator.
Clark's a good friend.
He is a good
Clark did
friend.
a good job, man. And
Love that guy.
poor Henry. He's trying to live both worlds, and I think that's when he's like, I just can't be a kid and play for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't be a kid. And he's smart. He
Yeah.
knows that, and that's why he retires at the end of the season. He's like, I'm just gonna be a kid.
I'm just gonna be a kid, man. I'm gonna throw a few more pitches, and then I'm just gonna be a
I'm
kid.
just gonna be a kid.
Yeah.
So, all right. I love this because I always get the surprise. Whoever's doing this, most dateable, and I'm gonna do a fuck, marry, kill with you, and I'd love to hear your answer. So, most dateable. I mean, Henry's mom, obviously.
Mm,
Are you? If you're 1993 and you say Julie the Cat Gaffney, if we're in that moment, yes.
I mean, as a kid, absolutely. I think we've covered that. Yeah, there's not really any. I mean, Chet Stedman's pretty. I mean,
I disagree.
huh?
I'm not into Gary Busey
Yeah.
at all.
I'm not into mom at all. So
I'm kind of into mom. She's such a good mom. She's
man,
got the
if you
good
get
mom
me,
thing.
grown-up version of like Bucket Hat Clark's little, like you said, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. I mean, like, there's some cute kids, but like, I don't know, like most. Now that I'm grown and watching the movie, there's not any other.
No, it's not a very.
Yeah,
But I'm going to give you 3 characters here, and I want you to make a decision.
give it to me.
Brickma, Sal, who's the coach, by the way, Sal
Yeah.
Martinella, who is has the most Italian name ever for a black man, and
Yeah.
then Bob Carson, the owner of the team.
Ooh, Bob Carson might be the most dateable too.
He's so cute. He's a cute
yeah.
old man.
Yeah, he's the guy that's like the Toy Story owner in
Yep.
Home Alone 2.
Mr.
Duncan.
Duncan. Yes, somebody got it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So him, Brickma, and Sal. Man, that's tough because I like all 3. But I'm gonna say I gotta kill Brickma because he's just an idiot.
Yep.
Yeah, he's an idiot. So I gotta kill him. I'm probably gonna fuck Sal and then marry Mr. Duncan.
That's the right answer. That's the only right answer, I think.
We got a disagreement. Go ahead and give us your answer in the chat. I'd be interested.
Yeah, I'd be interested too. Brickma is an idiot, and you're right. Like, let's just get rid of him. Something's gonna go wrong.
Yeah,
we're gonna lose him somewhere along the way.
Like baseball seeds anyway.
Yeah.
Die.
Sal's gonna forget your name.
Yeah.
But we're just having a fun time.
He can call me Stephanie that one time, like one time we're in bed.
I'm glad we're in agreement. It's such a dumb category. I love it though. It's so stupid. All right, best performance. I think we're in agreement about this. I have Thomas Ian Nicholas as Henry. I think he is the biggest star from this, and
pretty irreplaceable.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think we agree on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we can talk about this a little bit more. And for my 1993 recast or a 2023 recast, I've got both, so I'm excited for this. But The only thing I wrote down, one thing I'll go before I let you go into yours is I put Macaulay Culkin as Henry.
Me too.
Okay, he was originally supposed to be it.
What? I didn't
Yeah,
know.
that's
He
who
was the
they
perfect
wanted.
Age. He was the
Yeah.
same age.
But I think he had scheduling conflicts or something. But yeah, Macaulay Culkin.
Brodog says Brickma's got the loyalty.
So are you marrying Brickma?
Yeah, clear it up. Tell us, clear it up here. Who
You gonna do Mr. Duncan dirty like that? You gonna kill him off? No, you're wrong.
You know, that was kind of my initial reaction because he's at the end of his life, and he's the oldest of the three.
Yeah, but if you marry him, then you get his money, and that's what I'm about.
Trying to get
money.
that Chicago Cubs money.
Yeah, I'm trying to own a baseball
I could
team
love
like
him
Little
until he
Big League.
dies. I could love him until he dies for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. So we got the Macaulay Culkin out of the way. Get out of here, Joseph. You're so dumb. Got the Macaulay Culkin out of the way. If you have any others for Henry, please let it be known here. But who else do you got for recast?
Nobody for 93.
Okay.
But for 2023, I really struggled, man. I thought the kid that they got was great. And I also, you're going to be way better, unless without using like a Google search. And I tried to not use that, right? I tried to just
just try and use it off the top of your head.
I don't know a lot of kid actors these days.
I did Google. I could only think of one kid that I was like around this age, and she's a girl. And so changing it up a little bit there is this girl from I can't even remember what the television show is, but her name's Julia Butters.
Okay.
She was in you probably know her best from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She's the girl actor that he goes up against, that Leonardo DiCaprio goes up against, like in their TV scene or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, even the one I came up with, I think, is much too old now to play the role, which was Noah Schnapp.
Oh yeah, he's much too old, but yeah,
from Stranger Things. I think like when Stranger Things started, early Will could have been Henry.
Yeah,
with a different haircut.
No, keep the haircut. It's terrible.
Keep the haircut and a little more charisma.
Yeah.
So I could think of.
For 93. I recast Chet and Henry's mom.
Okay.
Around this, or I thought that honestly, what's his name? Gosh, I can't even think of his name. Gary Busey. I think Gary Busey's too old for the role.
I would agree.
He was in his late 50s, and I was like, baseball players do not make it past like the oldest was like Jamie Moyer, and he was 49 or 50 when he was done. But he's like the only one, and that's real life. Most of these guys are, late 30s, early 40s, and they're hanging up the Spurs. So I said Dennis Quaid, Bill Paxton.
I mean,
Jeff
Dennis
Daniels
makes a lot of sense because Rookie of the Year, right?
Or the rookie.
The rookie, yes.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I didn't really think about this when I was kind of thinking main character. Like I was just only really thought about Henry, but off the top, like Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, I could just see Charlie Sheen playing like a serious baseball player role.
Well, I mean, Major League, coming off of Major League, and
I mean, I guess that's why.
That Julia
for Henry's mom,
Elizabeth Perkins.
Okay.
And if anybody out there doesn't know who she is, she's the girl from Big that Tom Hanks's character hooks up with when he's an adult.
I put Helen Hunt.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a really good one.
Yeah, I kind of got. We're kind of getting into another, like one of the other categories is like because I love the movie, right? I love it, and if I had to say something negative about it, and my least favorite person in the whole movie, who I think is the most replaceable, it's Henry's mom.
Yeah,
I never have been a huge fan of her, and especially these most recent watch throughs, I was just like, anybody could have done this maybe a little bit better, in my opinion. And Helen Hunt, like, as I thought about, like, oh, who could have done it better? I thought about, like, man, a 93 Helen Hunt.
Yeah, she seems athletic enough, like, to where, she could be a baseball player or a softball
Oh, yeah.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I like that. I like that one way better than mine. For 2023, did you recast any of the others?
No, but if I think about 2023, Chet Stedman.
I put in the same way that I think Gary Busey is kind of ugly. I put Michael Shannon
Okay.
as Chet. Again, going based on like ages of people, I put Blake Lively as Henry's mom. Again, that's the hardest one to kind of cast. Like Jennifer Lawrence could probably do it. She seems more athletic in that regard. I think you'll like my Brickma though.
Oh, tell me.
Charlie Day.
Oh man, perfect.
And it's even better because I don't know if anybody listens to the Always Sunny podcast or anything, but Charlie was a baseball player. Like he played in college and was actually pretty good at it. So I was like, yeah, he could really do it.
Man, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really think about one for Brickma off the top of my head. Yeah, man, Charlie. I don't think there's any beating Charlie Day. That nails it. Yeah.
There's a couple other like celebrities out there that I know of that can play baseball. Like John Hamm played baseball back in the day. That he might be a good Chet.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah. I could see it might be kind of silly, but Seth Rogen playing Brickma.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Hey, tell me more. Do you know more about why didn't Macaulay Culkin not end up doing it?
I think it was a scheduling thing. I think
because of Home Alone?
Well, it wasn't Home Alone 2. I want to say it was. I don't remember what it was. That he had some scheduling conflict.
Because it almost couldn't be either one of the Home Alones because Daniel Stern's doing this, right?
Right.
So I'd be interested if the chat could look for us, like, because that was like, to me, for a 93 Phil, I was like, oh man, Macaulay Culkin could have been awesome in this movie. So it's really interesting that he was considered for it, or I didn't find that anywhere. And so I'd be really like, man, he's about the only other kid at that time that I could think of. Yeah,
it's really hard when it comes to like children actors, unless they're like 17, 18, and then that they're going to be in the next Timothée Chalamet or whatever they're going to end up being. But yeah, also along those same lines, Joe Pesci was almost in this movie as well as either the coach
or the
announcer.
Yeah, okay. I would expect him. I want Joe Pesci to be manages get 10%. Like, is it the Mr. Duncan guy's son?
Yes, his
sells him to the Yankees. I feel like Joe Pesci would have played that role really well.
I forget what that guy's name is. It's Dan Hedaya, the Larry Fisher. Mr. Fish.
Mr. Fish.
I think he was filming Pagemaster. I could be wrong.
Ooh, okay, that's cool.
So that's what kept him out of this. Okay. We're kind of already going into fun facts and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I did want to point out is here are all the names that Sal calls Henry during the movie: Rulingfurter, Gardenhoser, Ravaboozer, Rosenbagger, Runamucker, Rowan Gardner, Rulengruder, and Rosenberger.
I mean, it's just that to me was hilarious.
Yeah.
As a kid, I mean, my brother and I, my brother and I said "Runamucker" to each other.
Runamucker.
And some bird Gardenhoser, like we said this stuff to each other our whole lives. So it's definitely, that was a big part of this movie too.
Rosenbagger. Rosenberger.
And I
Um,
love when he calls him the correct name. He's like,
Yeah.
"What did you call me?"
he's so shocked.
Yeah.
What other? You're good at finding. I've got a few here of fun facts and stuff. Did you know? What do you got?
Man, I got nothing this time around, to be
Okay.
honest. I dug in my same places that I usually dig, and some of the only stuff that I found was, like John Candy was unscripted, which was a big part of it. The guy from Scrubs, what
Mhm.
first baseman. Um, yeah, wasn't a lot of. I feel like your Macaulay Culkin thing is like the funnest fact that I
Yeah.
had heard.
Pagemaster. What a disappointing movie.
Man,
I mean, I loved Pagemaster when I was a
oh
kid.
man,
but-
I was about to say you watch it about Pagemaster now.
No, I loved Pagemaster when I was a kid. Try and watch it now. I promise you. I promise you, you'll be like, what the hell is this? The only thing I wanted to mention, and just because I hate the St. Louis Cardinals so very much, is that during the scene where they're featuring live shots of the Wrigley Field, they're chanting, "We want Henry. We want Henry." There were a lot of Cardinals fans there, and they kept saying, "We want Ozzie," relating to the shortstop Ozzie Smith, who Ozzie Smith's awesome because he could do backflips and everything, and that was cool. But screw you, Cardinals fans.
I got to meet Ozzie Smith when I was growing up.
That's cool, but freaking, I hate the Cardinals fans. Get out of here. We're trying
not
to
a
film a
big-
movie.
I'm not a baseball. Yeah, get out of here, man.
Get out of here. That is cool though that you got to meet Ozzie Smith. Let's not glance over that. Let's just. That's pretty awesome. He's a Hall of Famer.
My dad took me to a place, and there I got to meet Ozzie Smith. So
That's awesome.
all the credit to him.
Old people love Ozzie Smith.
Oh,
They
yeah,
do.
he was awesome, man.
And the only other thing I have, besides whenever the guy says, "Well, that's a horse of a different color," that comes from Wizard of Oz, but everybody knows that. And then the hidden ball trick being illegal.
Yeah,
is the only other thing I have in there.
that was one of the only other things I saw too. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that I heard or saw.
That is quite all right. All right. So I've got if you can't say anything nice or the you ain't all that, what are you beside you? I think you said the mother. You didn't like the mother.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I mean, I really like this movie, and so there's, in my opinion, way more good than bad. But I would say that, yeah, Mom definitely was not my favorite, and I think could have been done by pretty much anybody quite a bit better. And then I would agree with you that this time around, the like float it was like, I dare you to do that to anybody in Major League Baseball. I dare you.
Especially that guy. He's cranking that thing.
Oh man, like that just like was humorous this time around.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, it was like, that kind of makes sense. That kind of makes sense. But like now it'd be like, oh man, he would have yoked that thing. Just crushed it. So yeah, just that's my only criticism really of it. Like I love when they open the door and Brick was in between the two doors and just folds down. And when he's trapped during the big
the baseball game.
I mean, that's so good. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Joseph just said in chat, but we've been talking about it the entire time. I think this was one that we kept talking about, like, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. Yeah, Stern, this is the only movie that he directed, but he directed this movie and was influenced by seeing, how Macaulay Culkin was treated by his own family, like by his father and everything, while he was filming Home Alone and Home Alone 2, that he was like, I want to have a little bit more control and a little bit more care with the children. And so I want to direct this movie, and I want to direct Thomas Ian Nicholas and show him like how it should be and to be kind. And I think that's really cool of Daniel Stern to do that and be like, no, we've got to take care of these children and not be dicks to them and not expect the world from them. So
I want to think that he's a good dude, but he's such a creep, and Home Alone.
I know. And he's a creep. He plays a creep in Bushwhack too. Too. So
That movie's ridiculous.
that movie is ridiculous. We should do Bushwhack. I know Spencer would love Bushwhack a lot.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I don't have anything on those, but we're going to moving to movie pairing, which is my favorite category. Harry, I'm coming up. Sorry, I just have to see those lines. Joseph's just feeding me, and I'm just I want to be Daniel Stern so bad. If you could pair this movie with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose? First, before I ask you, I'm gonna just put this out into the ethos. Another movie that we did together, you and I. It's kind of coincidence that we've hit on all these movies. But I said, is this not a fantastical version of This Boy's Life in some weird way?
Yep.
Is this not just like This Boy's Life? I mean, obviously, I can stand this.
Baseball covered This Boy's Life. Yeah.
But yeah, like even when he gets the shit beat out of it, the boyfriend it's the same thing with Dwight. What about me?
What about me?
Okay. What I'll let you. I have another movie. I just wanted to put that out there.
I've got the perfect movie.
Okay. What if it's the same?
God, I hope it's the same.
It's not.
Angels in the Outfield.
Great movie. That I did think of the movie that you were saying earlier, and I was like, I'm not gonna say it.
Danny Glover, Christopher Lloyd, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I mean, another kid baseball movie. That
Bird Lady from Home Alone 2.
That is just. It was so good as a baseball loving kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Angels in the Outfield. I went not baseball related.
You better not say Sandlot.
No, I did not say Sandlot.
Okay,
I did not do a baseball movie at
okay.
all. I thought in the realm of something fantastic happening to a child and then their life completely changing overnight, and I chose Blank Check.
I like it.
I was just like, yeah, something just out of this world, never would happen, happens to a child, and the
Court.
King Arthur, a kid in King Arthur's court. Not bad, not bad. That's like a sequel.
Yeah, man. Blank Check is, man, that's another one. I would say I like that falls into the same like time of my life that we had it on VHS, and like it was one of the ones that just like would get put on regularly, like. And, I still dream of having a slide coming out of my house.
Oh, my God, yes.
I mean, I think that everybody who saw that movie wants that forever. So
Macintosh.
Mr. Macintosh.
Juice. No thanks. I'm not thirsty. Also,
is Sinbad in that movie?
No, I don't think so. No, it's Tone Loc.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Funky Cole Medina, dude.
Yeah.
I also was super I was like a horny kid when I was a kid. I'll just go ahead and say it. I never thought girls had cooties ever. So when that kid kisses the like secret agent or the banker girl, I was just like,
secret agent.
Yes, I was like, the kid's the luckiest kid.
That is the life I'm trying to live.
I just said I was a horny kid, which is the weirdest thing to say.
Are all kids horny?
I don't know.
I think they are.
I don't know. I'm not going to ask them.
No, I assume that because I feel like I've reached my like peak horniness way back there in life.
Yeah.
That like, I think you're just horny when you're a kid.
It's like they don't want to admit it.
Of course. I mean, because like, yeah.
It goes into like gender norms and social norms and all this other stuff that people have put on us.
It's been a really long time since I had to hide a boner. Let's just say that.
I haven't stood for an invitation song in a long time.
I don't know, man. I went on Father's Day.
I got myself an ISB Yeah, okay, I get it. I have these okay, somebody in chat, not naming names here, said that I had a crush on at least one girl from every movie that we've reviewed this year. Yeah, 1993, formative time for me. I love the ladies, okay?
Man, come on to the secret agent lady in Blank Check. It was gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
Put
just
it on right now. She's still gorgeous.
unreal.
Yeah, she was gorgeous.
So get off my
Kind of
back.
like um she when I try to think of somebody who looks like her in my mind, like Karen from The Office. What's her name?
Yeah.
Like,
Rashida Jones.
Rashida Jones, like before Rashida Jones in my life, before I saw Rashida
Yeah.
Jones, it was like,
She's
yeah,
ethnically ambiguous.
I mean, just yeah, and the like cool cop.
Yeah.
Blank Check was awesome.
Yeah, let's just do a Blank Check podcast.
Can we talk about Angels in the Outfield and Blank Check next time?
Yes, 100%. I'll do the wave.
Let's rank all. Let's do a ranking of all kids sports movies.
Oh God, I'd love it more than anything.
Remember
That'll be
the
after our
Titans.
Wes Anderson. one.
Remember the Titans, Air Bud,
Mighty Ducks, 1,
Mighty Ducks.
2, 3,
God,
Big Green,
Big Green,
Little Giants.
Little Giant, dude. I'm down.
I'm down. Let's just talk about them all. All right, we'll put that one down because I mean it's such a fun thing to talk about. Rewatchability rating. What'd you give it?
You know, as an adult, as a kid, 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 13 years old, 5 out of 5. 10 years old, 5 out of 5. 38 years old, 3 out of 5.
I gave it a 1 out of 5 on rewatchability.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's because I love the parts that I love, and I'll never forget those parts. They're always going to be there. Do I need to see them all over again? No, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I could be swayed to a 2, but not a 1. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Overall star rating.
Man, I loved, I think it was Ebert's.
3. Yeah, the 3 out of 4.
I love that I picked a 3, and it's just because it is a personal. Like,
Yeah, same.
like I cannot give it a 2 out of 5
No, it's impossible.
because it is too. That's like offensive. Because the funky butt loving scene alone is worth a 3 out of 5, and the oh my god, like
Oh my God.
these staple scenes that like kind of similar to The Sandlot. You know, very similar to The Sandlot that got like, I would say I have done the oh my god, as many times as I've done like L7 Weenie. You know, like it was staple. So yeah, two felt low. So I went 3 out of 5.
I like it. 3 out of 5 for me too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree with Ebert this time around.
Ebert's right. He's right. And for anybody to hate it, it's just like, you know, you've never been a kid. So you can
Yeah,
suck it.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. That's it for Rookie of the Year. I think that went really, really well. I love this movie. I love talking about this movie. And I'm very excited. But before we let everybody go,
A few other things you gotta hit.
there are a few other things that we've got to hit. I want to end on some movie recommendations of something that maybe you've recently watched. Doesn't necessarily have to be a movie, or it could be a TV show or something like that. So,
Man, I don't know that I've got anything new since the last time that we talked. And I am like somewhat somewhat afraid to say the same thing that maybe I've said before.
mhm.
But one thing that I will say, I think it is worth repeating that there is a TV show on Hulu called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning
Okay.
that I think is excellent. It's like if you like those kind of Queer Eye type shows where people go into people's lives and they just try to help with stuff. It's kind of like these 3 Swedish people that go into people's houses and lives that are borderline hoarding a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. Help them get their act together. And if you like the Extreme Home Makeover style show with some foul mouthed Swedish people, it's pretty enjoyable, and it's been a really good encouragement for us as we move. It was like yeah, I think it's definitely watch like the first episode or two, and it'll either grab you or it won't. So
And you said is that on Hulu? I see Peacock. It's on Peacock or
Peacock is probably
Peacock. Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Thank you. Sorry.
No, I think you had mentioned that to me, but not told the
And
general
couple
public.
movies that I think I know you've seen is like I can't wait to. We've been moving. One of the reasons I'm like kind of behind on like sitting down and watching full movies that are not for the talks with you is just we've been moving over the last couple months, but I cannot wait to see after, especially hearing you talk about it from like without any spoilers, and my brother talk about it without any spoilers. I can't wait to see the new Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty intent on watching Super Mario Brothers. I think you said that you didn't necessarily love it, but I'm gonna go into that one with an open heart. I want to watch The Flash for sure.
I sadly do too.
It's not something I'm super proud of. Man, I swear I was looking the other day, and if we don't have time for it,
we've got time.
We were talking about going to see a movie nearby, and I saw something that was in the theaters that was not. Maybe it was just Spider-Man. But what about you? What have you seen recently?
So my weeks have been a little bit crazy, mostly because of vacation and then also being sick. That's why I didn't do the stream last week. Just not feeling on it. But you think you're just laying in bed, you're not doing anything. You think you would watch so much movies or so much TV or read or do any of these things, and I just didn't do any of that.
And that's when you're really sick, right?
Yeah.
For me, my sign is knowing, like when I don't enjoy playing my guitar anymore, that's when it's like, ooh, I'm really sick.
Yeah. So
and when you said to me, like, I don't want to be anywhere near the stream talking about movies last week, that's for me. I was like, oh shit, you're real sick.
Yeah, I was not good at all. But I have watched a couple. I've been watching a lot of I've been rewatching like Doctor Who in the background. Love Doctor Who. It's not for everybody though. I'll say that. But I've watched 2 movies since I think I've last streamed. Both of them are foreign movies. One of them was recommended by Alyssa. I watched with Alyssa. It's called I Am Not an Easy Man. It is I believe it's a French movie, and it's on Netflix. And that movie is about a man that wakes up or gets like knocked out and then wakes up in a world where the gender roles have kind of switched. Okay. So like the men in this world are now the the mothers, the caretakers, like they do all this, and it's really, really unique and really cool. So I would definitely recommend people watch that. And then this past week, I watched one that was on my my watch list for a while. It's a Romanian film, and it was on Hulu, and it's called Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn. That's the name of it. Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn.
As I was getting ready today, I read your review of that one.
Yeah, another kind of interesting take on something. So the premise of this one is a teacher has a sex tape that she made with her husband, and it gets put out into the world, and the school kind of grills her about it and try to decide whether or not she should still teach the children or not. And then it really gets into a lot of stuff. Like it gets into like some racism. It gets into just some nationalistic views. And even though it's talking about Romania, it's also a COVID movie, and it's a really good way. Like sometimes you'll see those movies that are that handle COVID. This one I think did a really, really good job of how we were during COVID and all that. So it's really unique in that sense. So those are the two that I have watched recently and recommend.
The only other thing that I have to say, and I think it takes us where we need to go as well, is really want to see Elemental.
Oh yeah,
I think that when we do go to the theater here soon, that's probably what we'll go see. But also, Asteroid City
absolutely.
is out and about, and I think that as soon as the three of us have all seen that movie and kind of completed our homework for the previous Wes Anderson movies, we should very quickly be getting into our ranking of all of those, because I'm really excited. I think we should talk about how we do our ranking this time.
Okay.
I think maybe that the combined scores of all three of us and like ranking it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should be forced to agree upon the list.
Okay.
Jackie Brown was way too high on that one.
You're wrong. You're so wrong. You're so wrong. But y'all are so wrong about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So that's fine. No, we can definitely talk about it. It was a fun conversation. It was a fun conversation. I think
we gotta
that
get maybe can we get Spencer in on the Wes Anderson talk?
if I can get him to watch those movies, I mean,
He's not a fan.
we'll see. We'll see if I can get him in there. But that would be fun. Yeah.
It's quite the assignment, but I myself, I would send anybody on that journey for sure. The earliest
And if you've looked at, I've kind of got a list on my Letterboxd for those
I've tried to
people.
stay away from
Okay,
it.
stay away. But just so everybody knows, if you do see that list, like it changes on a daily basis. Like there have been days where I'm like, God, that was such a good movie. Why do I have that lower on my list than I did?
Yeah.
So I've changed it in my head like 20 times. So do stay away from my rank. That was the only thing I did while I was sick, was create rankings lists of Spielberg and Christopher Nolan and all these other. I was just writing back miserable, coughing and just hating my life, and all I wanted to do was rank things. So if you're into that, go to my Letterboxd and check it out. But if you want to wait, then wait. I'm not giving you my number one Nolan, Joseph. I'm sorry. Anything else that we missed or that we need to talk about?
He said the new Transformers. The new Transformers. Your number one Nolan.
That's my number one Nolan movie is Transformers, Rise of the Beast. So he did that, right? It's Barbie. That's my number one Nolan movie, Barbie.
Oh man, I do want to see Oppenheimer.
I can't wait for Barbie and Oppenheimer. All right. Well, I think that's everything. I know that we did this a little late, but I'll go ahead and warn people of the next movie, which I am doing that stream tomorrow at the same time, 5 o'clock.
Row.
2 in a row, boys and girls.
It's a good one too, man. Like if you said, "Hey, this is my pairing choice for Rookie of the Year," I wouldn't be like super mad. Like I think the next one's a pretty good pairing, to be honest.
I think that you gotta watch. Have you watched Free Willy? Have you watched it already?
I love it. Yeah, I love Free Willy.
Okay. Well, I'll be glad to see you in the chat tomorrow talking about it.
I'm gonna be so mean.
Well, tomorrow's movie is Free Willy. If you haven't watched it yet, you can catch up on it before we get there. It is streaming on Tubi right now. If you don't have Tubi, it's a free app. You'll have to sit through some commercials, but it's really great. So go check that out and join us tomorrow. Thank you.
Nice on the stream,
wonderful
mean
person.
in the chat.
That's right. That's how he lives his life. We will talk to you later. Talk to you tomorrow. Y'all have a good rest of your night, and thank you for watching 52/1993.